Well, how was that? Yeah, one more time. So like I mentioned in the beginning, we do have a Q&A portion now. So I'm gonna ask for Anakala Kioni, Auntie Shirley, as well as Kobe and Sherry to come up to the stage. Okay, I'm gonna start off with a couple of questions just so we start talking story, but feel free, you know, when you get questions too. There is, on this far end, there's Ka'o in a white long sleeve shirt. And on that side, there's Kayla in the far back. We have 2 mics. So when the time comes, just raise your hand, and then they will come on over and give you guys the mic. And then just, if you have a direct question, you can direct it to an individual, or you can let us know too if it's just across the board, whoever wants to respond. And I'm actually going to start off with the directors and producer. Why did you start this project? And what was the selection process like? Like, how did you end up picking who you picked, or which kūpunas were highlighted in this small level?
Hello everyone, I'm Sherry Salmon, the producer. It really started with a dream that Kobe, you know, we had a lunch and she talked about her grandma and just an interview that she did with her first school project that is lost, and then we both felt the urgency to seek out kūpuna. I mean, that was the easy part, really. We talked to our friends, we just put out, you know, the word into the community, and so many people came to us with their suggestions. So that was the easy part, getting the pool of people, but the hard part was, you know, dwindling it down to these 5 really special kūpuna who have touched our lives, I'm safe to say forever, and our children's lives. Yeah. It came together super organically and super fast. So I think I might have had the lunch with Sherry last, I don't know, summertime, like maybe early June, July. And then by August, we had the whole team come together. We were shooting. We shot 10 days in a row, and then quickly edited everything, and then showed it, premiered it in December at Kahilu Theater in Waimea. We wanted to present it to our legends and their ohana, and wanted to do it around Christmas time, which was kind of crazy, but it was very organic in our first attempt at doing something on this scale. So it was many, many hands. Like, our team definitely flew down from Oahu, some of us here, but then many, many hands, including Kayla and her ohana that suggested kūpuna, and we had a list of about just so many kūpuna, and luckily auntie, uncle, and the 5 said yes and opened up their homes, ohana to us, and it was pretty special.
Mahalo nui. And Anakala Kioni, Auntie Shirley, what was that like, you know, when people approached you and said, hey, you know, there's this project happening, what do you think about sharing your story? What was going on in your mind at that time, and why did you ultimately say yes to sharing your mo'olelo?
Well, when I heard that from one voice to the next voice to the next voice, I was like, my name got up to the top 5 in the big island of Hawaii, Ho'oponopono. So I was really surprised and happy, because it's a lot of work I did, day after day, nighttime, lashing the drums, and never ended, never stopped. And his hands, you know, it's not just pushing a chair, pushing me around, you know, moving coconut logs, carrying them, you know, like 60, 40 pounds to 80 pounds on top of me, but, you know, I'm moving in there, lifting weights like 25 pounds with curls, and sure I can get energy and strength for move the logs and to carry, not depend on other people, yeah, so It was very surprising. I was very happy to be part of the hui on the hometown mission. Very much.
Obviously, I really don't know how to handle these. But anyway, I actually got a call from the president of our ʻImiloa, an organization that I belong to, which was formed about 27 years ago. And our kūpuna, or our kumu at the time, was Auntie Elizabeth Lee, who has since passed. And the president of the club called me, because apparently she had been contacted for a suggestion as to who would be a candidate for the film, and that's how I came aboard. It was a surprise, really, because I like generally to stay in the background, even though I am a kūpuna. My thing is just about doing and not so much try to build myself up. I like generally to be in the background and just be there to teach, and hopefully my students will carry on. And I must say that latter part of 2022, my granddaughter, my daughter, and other members of, female members of my family informed me that they're ready to learn ʻImiloa. And I was really blown away by that, because I've been waiting for over 60 years to hear that. And now it's coming true, and I'm able to start working with my family. And then hopefully, and I ask the man above to please let me hang around for quite a while more, so that I can be sure that I've passed on what I learned from my grandmother and kumus that I had worked with at ʻImiloa.
And then before I take it back to Kobe and Sherry, I just wanted to ask you, the two of you to share a little bit more on, what makes your craft most enjoyable in the work that you do, and what inspires you in the work, and with that, the sharing with others. I think, when I think of living legends, right, it's like, because of the work that you do, not just for your own ohana, but for the extended community, and that makes you, right, in my sense, that makes a living legend. And so, what makes your craft most enjoyable for yourself, and what inspires you to continue on in your creations?
I guess I'll start. As a child, I lived in a multi-generational home. My grandparents, my parents, my brothers and sisters. And that went on for quite a number of years, till I was maybe 8 or 9 when my grandparents built another home close by, within a half mile of our home in Kealia. And then Grandma, throughout my growing up, well, after they moved, let's go back, to Ho'okena, Grandma asked that my parents would allow me to become part of their household, because I had an aunt I still do, who's 4 years older than I. When they moved, poor Aunt Anna was very lonely, and so she needed company. And so that's how I moved and stayed on from then on with my grandparents. And I have to say, there's so much to be learned and to get from talking story with Grandma and Grandpa and following along with what they do or did. And there was so much for, I have to say, that I really owe to my grandparents, because by not being included, I would not have really learned like to Ulanalaha, to go and Mahiai Kawa. And then when my grandpa started doing canoes, racing canoes, we were able to go along up to the mountain, Kealakekua Ranch, when he gathered the logs, and then bring it down. And we had the opportunity to actually kalai, but Grandpa could hear the sound. We got it a little bit too thin with the wood. Okay, power already. Enough, you go play. And then we let him continue on. But you know, all those little experiences, which I am concerned about with our keiki, is that there's so many activities, school activities, sports activities, that take up their day or their afternoons, their summers, that they don't have the time to spend with Grandma and Grandpa. And then, of course, they're separate households. So we really do need to take the time to spend together, even if it's just for an hour or two. And pass on some of the ike that you have that you can share with the babies. And one thing I've always said at ʻImiloa Gardens, because I'm a volunteer there and part of the board, bring your keiki with you no matter what you're doing, because the child may not understand what's going on, but they're really paying attention to what you're doing. And so eventually, as they get older, they'll start to mimic and then learn just what that's all about. So bring the keiki, let them get dirty. I say that we're probably as healthy as we are. Well, I am, because I got opala, lepo, and that extra helped me to stay at the age I am now. I will not tell you how old I am.
Okay, it's been a while when I was younger, and I used to make drums, got taught from John Deliri in his hula hala in Kaneohe. And time went on, and half of my life was living in the ocean. Commercial diving, on land, there's a certain time you gotta go to the halau and practice. And there was a time that I learned that much Polynesian music, Hawaiian music, and Hawaiian drums, and Polynesian drums. So every one of us boys, we have to perform how to make or teach, got taught from John Deliri. And every other day, 3 days a week, working on drums, making drums, drum after drums, music after music, and sounds of the drums. So when you hear drums of the sounds, yeah, you move your nerves around, move your legs around, dancing, sounds, and we have to go out and perform. And when we go out and perform, we have a whole show, Polynesian Hawaiian show. And that kind of things that last so long, yeah. And then we move on to the next life. And my life was always in the ocean. And until I got the band, some diving, and it's part of my life, yeah. Either diving, commercial diving, we live on the water, we work on the water. It's a different world, yeah. It's not on land. When you work on the water all day, yeah, from morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we get like 24 diving tanks. We get 4 divers and 1 boatman. And working their life, and as years go on, We supply my mom's fish market downtown. Beside all the fish markets and supermarkets, the supplies of fish. And every day, fishing, we catch like 2,000 pounds of fish. And we work with nets on the water. So we got unit and fence net, and I just want to share about the kind of living that we do on the water here. And for supply all the fish markets and supermarkets, they need divers like us for supply everybody. So everyone can eat fish. Yeah, people need to eat fish, but people cannot catch fish because they don't go in the ocean. That type of living. So when this will happen, the bands, our life, either we're gonna get the bands or beaten by the sharks or eaten by the sharks. That's the danger of the job. Yeah. But when it happened, it happened. It's not all the time happening. So when this will happen, that will change my life around. I end up in a rehab in Queens and rehab of the Pacific for 3 years, paralyzed from the neck down. But mind strong. If you be one athletic and person that move around all the time, you fight whatever can get back. Mind, nerve, and muscles. So it took me 7 to 8 years. I told myself I'm gonna get my strongest strength back. 7, 8 years. So the best I could get, the strongest I could get. But little by little, the mind, nerve, shoelace, exercising my foot up and down. And then little by little, maybe within a year and a half, 2 years, my toe will move. And I started to work hard to myself. Party. Party! Yeah! I mean, parties, work harder. Yeah? Work hard and more time exercising up and down. And so this nurse in Queens Hospital, they look at me. So I had friends visit me. I was a good racquetball player, good in sports. So when they came visit me, my friends, I had one friend, a racquetball partner. She bought a racquetball can, magazine, and shoelace tied around. So when they all left, I called a nurse. I told the nurse, "Nurse, can you help me?" "Yes, what you want?" "You see the shoelace on the magazine or on the racquetball can? Take it apart, and can you tie it together? Tie one end, one pin, and the other end, you tie one loop. And it's bent over here, that shoelace right around. If you could help me every 15 minutes, put that loop around my ankle. And every 15 minutes, lifting my leg up. Because I only had my left arm and my head. And that was it. And days went by, nights and nights, watching TV. Like I said, maybe about 1 year went by, my toe would move like that. Party! And I went party. Work harder. Because if you don't work hard, your nerve muscles going to be relaxed. But you got to work hard. But when I got discharged, 1 week later at the Honolulu Marathon, I entered the Honolulu Marathon, but I had to get approval from the doctor. But I did the race, but I found Aloha Tower, only to Hawaii Kai, and I gave up. Because the other people on a racing chair, they had a racing chair. I had a regular racing chair, regular wheelchair. But I just wanted to work out. So that was a good exercise for me. But other than that, things will come up and move to the Big Island. Yeah. And then from there on, my 2 boys, I put them in Papakaipuni on Keoka. And then every day I went down to Kealoha Beach Park. I was grieving. And under that lauhala tree by that bandwind, where everybody hang around, my spirit been talking to me that one day, one morning. And that Wahine, I don't know who's her, but she told me, "Boy, make Hawaiian drums." With her palm and her voice, pushed me back. And she told me, "Boy, make Hawaiian drums, Yahweh." And then I breathed for 15 minutes, look to the left and right, behind, up in the lauhala trees, and just breathe. And I told him, kūpuna, it's my last day for this project. But I'll be back tomorrow. And that evening, I had to go canoe practice at Kūpuna Canoe Club. And after practice at 6:30, 7 o'clock, I told one of my friends, Papu, I know you're getting a chainsaw. Let's go cut the coconut tree down. So across the Suisun Fish Market, you get the power plant. So coconut trees in there been there from maybe 1850, yeah, 1900. So the tree is like 100 years old. And then when I look at these coconut trees, all the dead coconut trees, so I ask the spirit of the land, and if I could have the dead coconut trees, say, my kai, mahalo, told him mahalo. So a little bit oli, puli, and then cut the first get dead coconut trees, and the one coconut trees, I think I made like, maybe like 20, 30 coconut drums, yeah, Hawaiian drums. And I went back, I told Uhani, the spirit, for my first power drum to my 20 drum, I'm gonna donate them. And my first power drum was dedicated. And donated power drum to Halau Kikui, my first power drum. So every Halau, I donated my power drum to the 20 drum. And after the 20 drum, and every drum I've been making at Kialo Beach Park. The reason why, because I wanted to promote what I'm making out of this coconut tree. So when people pass by, they stop, they watch me, and they listen to me making noise. Chisel, I went go out my hammer. And that been last for days and nights and days and years until I got hired, HCC. I got hired for like 3 years at the community college to teach the Hawaiian drum making. And UH for 1 year. And after that, I was on my own with like 30 students to 60 students every month. And never did end. So every month since then, 30 to 60 students, one workshop, and one workshop lasts for a month and a half. Once your papa is found, our next class coming in. And that never end. And the drum making is only drum making. It's not lashing the drums. So there was a real inspiration of the kūpuna that told me to make Hawaiian drums. And since then, it's a love. And forever, I'm making drums and no ending for me. Every year, I get that much drums order. Never fail, yeah. Until now, Hometown Legends was for me like, wow, what an honor to be part of this, because on the Big Island, we got a lot of legends, and the legends are legends. And I got picked, so mahalo, oko. Mahalo, everybody.
Okay, I have one more question for Kobe and Sherry, so get ready, guys, or raise your hands. Okay, so I'm hoping you're listening. I'm kind of just, in awe of the mana'o that is being shared here, and I can only imagine what that looked like on the production shoot days. There must have been lots of mana'o, vala'o, ha'iwo, lalo'ana. And how do you pare that down so that you can fit it into a 1 hour film featuring 5 kūpuna and then mo'olelo? And what was that process like? And I guess ultimately in that way, what is the goal for your audiences and audiences, from Hawaii, but do you take them elsewhere? What is the intention and takeaway that you hope for people to get from seeing this film?
Every time we interviewed a kūpuna, we probably have about at least an hour of them just talking story. This was the first time that we had a production like this where we're just like, share whatever you want to share, It was like we didn't really guide them at all, just kind of sitting there, like kneeling down, kind of like around a campfire kind of feel. Just share whatever you feel like sharing. And so we got so much. I mean and each kūpuna had maybe 10 minutes total in the film, but that's including their ohana talking to, and just kind of breaks to just music and B-roll. But there's I think we probably need to do some, like a director's cut, because there's so much we had to cut out, but I think we wanted to, have a storyline for each of them, including like their meahana, the thing that they do, but also a little bit of who they are, or a lot of who they are. Like with Uncle Sunny is Paniolo, he's a rancher, worked for Parker Ranch, but this is kind of one of the first times that we were like, we want to talk about Parker Ranch, yes, but we want to talk about you, and like growing up with your grandparents, and growing up with plantation, Pu'unuhulu. So it was just, we were trying to tell a complete story. It was a short 10 minutes of just kind of the essence of who they are, mixed in with the thing that they do, but really just wanted to feel like we know who they are. Yeah.
Speaking to, first and foremost, this film is for the kūpuna and the ohana, and then, of course, the people of Hawaii. But when we think about spreading it further, really the lessons are found in the in-betweens, which is, it's not just la'a, it's not okaru fishing, it's not ulana lauhala, it's not pahu, it's not paniolo, it's about resilience, it's about grace, it's about strength, it's about being pa'a in your culture and helping your lapui thrive. That's about aloha aina. So I think those key lessons can be, it goes further than Hawaii. I think this is the most I've ever heard Uncle Keone talk about pahu making. It's the most I've ever heard Auntie talk about the garden and lauhala. It's really about their character and what we are finding the common thread between these kūpuna that we can share, hopefully, makaina.
And we've already gotten so much feedback from even outside of Hawaii, which has been so exciting, because this film, we kind of just put it out there and we don't know who's watching or how it's impacting them, but I've had coffee with a filmmaker from the East Coast who just happened to be in Hawaii, and her family's from Peru, and she told me after watching Hometown that she wants to move back to Peru and tell stories of her place and her people, and I'm like, wow, it's so crazy. We have had little ones, including my daughter, who she's 10 years old. She talks about going to Auntie Shirley's house and learning lauhala with Auntie Shirley. She's gotten to weave with her a couple of times, and she's done school projects on lauhala now, and just like that young generation, like Auntie says, they're listening and they're interested, and it's exciting to see that younger generation really like touched by this film.
Mahalo nui. Okay, we're gonna open up for some questions from the audience. So who's first? I know you got something. Okay.
Do you have any plans for making a second movie or for another island?
Yes, we are hoping to go to Molokai this summer. We are so excited. We have already 5 incredible legends that we are hoping that we can feature. There's just so much momentum, and people saying, come on, we need to do all the islands, which we want to do. I hope we can go to every island, and I hope we can even come back and focus in on certain communities. Like I was telling Sherry, even if we did like Hometown Legends Hilo, there's so many legends right here in Hilo that we could do one just on Hilo, Waimea, Kona. The tricky part is that we are trying to navigate is just the funding aspect. So with Hometown Legends, we self-funded it. It was a passion project. All the crew members just donated their time, and it's a lot. And just trying to balance like how to keep doing this, how to pay for it has been the challenge. But we're learning a lot about grants and donations and things like that. So we're hoping that we'll get enough to at least to start the next one, which is Molokai this August.
Kobe, I think this is a great plug-in. So there is a Kickstarter, right? And can you share a little bit more about that? If anybody in the audience wants to tell people about it and how to support with this funding need.
We have a Kickstarter, but we actually have got accepted to be represented by a nonprofit that basically is a medium between the donor and us so that you can have a tax write-off. So that's going to go live next week. So if you follow us on Instagram or go to our website, hometownlegendshigh.com, we'll have information there. So I was hoping it would be ready by tonight, but next week, if you make a donation through, it's called CID, you get to write it off.
Okay, then who else has a question? Don't be shy. Everybody wants to say something, I know it. Oh, right here, yeah. Right up front.
I just wanted to know if you guys have any other movies besides this one.
That's a good question. This is actually our first full-length documentary. So we've been filmmakers for many, many years, but we've always been kind of in the commercial space, like doing commercials and stuff. So this has been our first real movie. So, and not our last, is our first. So more to come.
Okay, well, I have another question. If, interrupt me whenever somebody has a question, go for it. I want to ask Anakala Kioni and Shirley, I think what was really beautifully done in the film was that it was you folks sharing your mo'olelo, and it was others from your ohana talking and sharing about you as well. And I think that goes to, the next generation, right? And the work that is being done and the connection to place, and it's because of this desire for multi-generation prosperity, and knowing one's connection to place and the work that can be contributed to that place. So my question is, how do you think we can get the next generation re-engaged and reconnected, whether it's through the work that you folks do, or if you just have a broad guidance to share of how we can reconnect and continue?
First of all, thank you, Kobe, for what you're doing, you and your crew, and bringing to light what we do in our communities that are known by just a few. And so this way, others know about it. Other people know that there are ways that one can gain the knowledge that we have to share. And I'm certain that myself and the other participants are just chomping at the bit to be able to work with youngsters or even adults who want to learn. There are ways to do it, and as I mentioned, Kalulauhala Okona, if you'd like to learn Lanalauhala, or volunteering at like a botanical garden, because as a volunteer, you get to learn from what's being done on the property, and that's another means of learning and sharing, and aloha aina too, because you're actually contributing to the property and what it has to share, not just for the little community that it's in, but for our entire state. And that too, we at ʻImiloa especially, we do have visitors who want some time to do something. And so when they're POW or they're done helping out the garden when they go home, then they share what they learned. And eventually, it just goes around. And that's a wonderful way, I believe, to share us, who we are, what we can do, and how we do it.
Okay, living the life of making drums every day, or other people, other kids, no matter wahine, man, hanging around with somebody like me, and we surrounded with coconut trees, and just working the aina, yeah. So when you say aloha aina and malama aina, yeah. Take care of the land, love the land, and what you plant, make sure that you have resource for the next 40 years, because you take one coconut tree to grow that much years for harvest, at least 26, 27 years old. So, if you want to learn, like my kids, you know, they live the life, they see the life what I do, and they've been there, and they have their own life to do and take care, their own family, and there's a time they come and go. It's like everyone else, there's a time they come and go. And if you may recall, I have a Hawaiian Culture Center down there at Onikaka Beach Park, and I got awarded the land from the county of Hawaii. So I've been there like 24 years already. So whoever want to learn, Onikaka Beach Park, the gate on the left-hand side, you can see all the coconut trees over there. And I guess that's how they learn. That's how I learn, yeah. If you're a youngster, better yet, yeah, you be there to watch and to learn and to know about this coconut tree, how hard it is and how heavy it is, this fiber, yeah. So this fiber is one of the second strongest fiber on all trees, yeah, beside the olana. But when you feel these coconut trees, the weight, the dress weight, food dress, and you know, when people would tell me they could bring coconut trees, and when they bring them, just drop it off right there. And people come over there, they like help me move the trees, move the stumps. They want to carry, they can carry the trees, yeah, for the stumps. That's how they learn, step by step, know about the trees, what about the life of the tree. What is a coconut tree is all about? A life on earth, yeah, that give everything, water, cups, coconut shade, mats, hats, homes. The life of the coconut tree live again as a powerful drum. So that's the name of my organization. He Olahu Okikumunu. The life live again as a powerful drum. And I'm located on Onikaka Beach Park, so if you guys want to learn, stop by. Mahalo.
Yeah, you're sort of okay, one more time, guys. Last call. Oh.
I'd just like to say mahalo for continuing to be a practitioner and for sharing the mana'o with us in Tarasha. And it's very special that you guys took time out of your life to share that, and for ladies for taking time to talk to me that. And I appreciate it. It's a good reminder that, you know, middle-aged people still get kūpuna for you guys. But anyway, I just wanted to say all of you.
Thank you all for being here and sharing this evening with us. That's so special. Mahalo.
Well, I think that was a great way to wrap it up, but Kobe, did you have another one to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to share real quick, I think Hometown Legends started as just like an idea, a dream, and then it turned into something so amazing, like better than we could have ever imagined. It definitely changed our lives. I can speak on behalf of my team that it's changed our lives, but one thing that we can do, anybody, young, like no matter how old you are, is to just take the time to sit and talk with your family, your kūpuna. There's so many people that we miss and that we wish we could have a little bit more time with, just talk with them again, but we have people in our lives now that we're gonna miss if they pass. So I think since beginning this project, I've really taken time, like I feel it every day, to just slow down and to look around at me and appreciate the people in my life. I mean, life is crazy. I mean, I have kids, job, all that. Life is crazy, but I think when we take the time to just love and talk story with the people that we love, our lives are just so much richer because of it. So I think that's, if you take anything away from tonight, I mean, I know that there's a lot of takeaways, but just take the time to go and call your ohana or talk to your kūpuna and spend some time with the people that you love.
Mahalo. Anybody else over here get any last minute they want to impart with anyone before I wrap it up?
I think one of the things that was impressed upon me by my grandparents is that, I guess it's an old way of thinking, is pa'akamaha, lohe ko pepea, na komaka. Because by doing that, listening, sharing, and not just everything comes out of a book. There's a whole lot that we learn verbally and just by paying attention. Mahalo.
And I went to Mahalo, the UH and ʻImiloa for having us over here. And it was kind of special when Kobe said at ʻImiloa. So I told myself, ʻImiloa, wow. So with the stars that they show in the back room back there, and navigation. So when I look at my medals, or my kind of medals, yeah, I bought my Hokulea medal right here. Yeah. I mean, it's only hanging in front of me, but when they talk about navigation, I was one of the makers of the Hokulea back in 1975. So we that much people doing the construction on the Hokulea in 1975. And maybe 2 years later, they had a canoe race, and was sponsored by the Hokulea Society. Yeah. And so that race, we won that race, first place, so I get to wear the medal today. And all the time, ʻImiloa, when Bruce Blankenfield and I know there, we still carry on because we all sport together and at the canoe clubs. So, mahalo nui.
Well, mahalo nui again. Mahalo to these two kūpuna here and the three who are not with us tonight for being open to sharing mola, not just in the film, but in everyday life. Mahalo nui to Kobe and Sherry for again making the time to document it too. Mahalo nui everyone here who made the time to join us for this film screening as well as the discussion. Everybody ho'i parekana i ka home, everybody drive home safely, take care. Ai ko kako hui ho ana until we meet again. Malama pono, mahalo nui. Aloha.